Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day, and today I'm gonna be reviewing the Percy Jackson series. I have recently realized that I have finished reading the whole series and I didn't make a review. I don't know why, I don't know what happened. Yeah. So we are going to start with Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, obviously. So for those who don't know what this story is about, which I highly doubt, but anyways, for those who don't know, this is a story about Percy Jackson, who is a demigod, and he is 12, I think, and he realizes that he's a demigod and he is the son of Poseidon, the god of the sea. Is that how it's called? Anyways, in this book, Zeus's lightning bolt has been stolen and everybody thinks that it's Percy for some reason, just because he's the son of Poseidon, and that they are not against each other, but they're not rooting for each other either. So for some reason all the gods think that Percy stole the bolt, so he has to return it before the summer solstice, or else there will be war, basically. So Percy goes on this journey to find the bolt, and he has his friend Annabelle and... wow, I forgot his name. Grover, I think it is. Yes, Grover. Wow, that was ridiculous. In this book, I thought that Percy was really funny. He has a great sense of humor throughout the book, even though there are some parts of the book where it's really not funny and they almost die, but he always has a way to turn it around and to make it funny. So that was really nice, because the writing style, of course, is really not childish, but it's a children's book, so obviously it's easier to read. It was fine for me since English is not my first language, so it was easier for me to read it. There were no hard words that I didn't know what they were, so yay. This book was written in first person, so that was a bonus for me, because I prefer books that are written in first person, because I feel like you can understand more the feelings of the first person when it's written as themselves, either than when it's written like, this person was feeling nauseous and he was really scared. Like, it's fine, but like, I don't love it. Annabeth and Grover in this book are really supportive characters. They help Percy throughout the way, and they save, well, not save his life, but they help a lot during the task. Well, not the task, but like the mission to find the bolt. Percy and Annabeth's love relationship thing, I don't really know what it is, but it's really funny. It's really cute. They both don't know what's happening. It's just really funny. Yeah, the main problem I had with this book, well, mainly the whole series, is that they are so young and they like fight monsters that are like 12 feet tall, and it's not really realistic to me, because he's a kid and you're telling me that he is stronger than a minotaur or a centaur. That's not really realistic, and I know it's a mythology book and that they are heroes, so they are somehow stronger and powerful, but at the same time it was so unrealistic that sometimes it took me out of the story. I really couldn't care less about the fight scenes because they were so unrealistic that I just wasn't really into it. Now we are on to book 2, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. This book I thought was the most interesting out of the 5, just because Percy Jackson was not the hero in this one. It's actually Clarisse who gets a quest to do on this book about a sea of monsters. Yes. So in this book, Clarisse is actually sent to do the quest, and Percy has to stay behind and watch her leave for the quest, and he's like, well, I can't do anything about it. Why can't I go? He, of course, ends up going anyways, because there wouldn't be a story to tell, but it was really interesting to see that at the beginning and at the end of the story. He is not the hero. He is not the one who's going after the quest, and he's not the one who's going to be rewarded at the end when the quest will be done, because he's not the one who will have done it, because it will be Clarice, what did I say? So that part was really, really interesting to see, because not a lot of writers will do that, to have the main character not be the main character in the story. Does that make sense? Tyson was so cute. He was adorable. I loved him to pieces. At first, I didn't really know why he was in the story, because at the beginning, he didn't bring anything to the story, but then at some point, he just saves everybody's lives, so he's kind of important, and he is really strong, and I didn't really realize it until the fight scenes. But yeah, he was a really, really main character for this story, and it was really, really interesting to see that he is not the main character, but he still has a major role. So I feel like in this book, all the roles were inverted. Of course, Percy does a lot of stuff, and he fights, and he saves people's lives, of course, but he's not the only one. Now we are on to Percy Jackson and the Titans Curse. I am in love with the plot twist at the ending. It was so incredible. I did not see it coming, but I mainly don't see coming any plot holes, so I don't know if that means anything, but I really love this twist, because it was so intriguing, and I just really, really loved it. The curse is really, really interesting, because you get it at the first book, but it continues throughout the series, and in this one, it's a bit more in there, and I was so intrigued about what was going to happen with this curse that I just kept going, because I really wanted to know who that demigod was. And since it was Percy writing in first person, I knew he wouldn't die. So I was like, okay, maybe it's someone else who will die, or maybe it's him who's gonna save the day. Who knows? In this book, Percy and Annabeth are so cute. Again, they're like a couple, but doesn't know that they are a couple. So it's just so funny to see. But in this book, Percy did a lot of stupid things just to protect her, and it was not working, and I just couldn't see how in his mind it was a good idea. The huntresses in this book they are so cool. I cannot tell you how much. I love them. They are amazing. I really love their loyalty to Artemis. It was really, really incredible. I did not expect to see Artemis that way she was described. I really thought that she would be like this big goddess and like super tall, super big, super impressive, but she's just like this child. Well, she's a goddess, but she takes the appearance of a child, and I was so surprised by that, because I was like, well, if you're a goddess, I would guess that you would take the biggest size possible just to make yourself look impressive, but she didn't, and I was really surprised by that. Now we're on to Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth. Again, there is another plot twist in this book that I obviously did not see coming. I don't know how people can see plot twists. Well, maybe in movies there are some clues that tell you that there is going to be a plot twist at the end, but in books, I don't know, when I read it, I'm like so in the moment of reading what's happening now that I don't think about the future. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyhow, the Labyrinth was really, really complicated, to be honest. I had a lot of difficulties to just understand how it was made, because you get in and you get lost, but then at some point you find yourself back at the beginning or at a place that you recognize. So I didn't understand how it was made. I know it was some magic, but it just wasn't clear, and I just kept losing myself when they were explaining how it was made. Luke, his character, at that point, I didn't know if he was good, if he was bad, if everything that he was doing was intentional or not. I really couldn't tell, and it was so intriguing that I really wanted to read the next one to just know if he was just really mean or if he was actually nice and he was being controlled by Kronos. That part was really, really interesting. And yeah. And finally, Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian. In this book, we get the final battle between Percy and his friends against Kronos and his allies. They're not really his friend supporters, I would say. The battle almost takes like half of the book, and it's not a big book. The battle starts like here, and it's a lot for a battle because it took more than half of the book. But it was really interesting because the way it was cut down was really nice. Because you had the first battle in the beginning, then you had a pause, and stuff was still happening. Then you had the other section of the battle, then another pause, and then the final battle, epic battle, where it's really the ending and everything is falling apart, but you don't really know if they're gonna make it. Yeah. I kind of knew that help would be coming on the way, even though it wasn't said. But like, I knew that the centaurs would come and that the Ares people would come. The house, I said people, the house from Ares. I knew that they would come, but I just didn't know when or how. And it was really, really interesting the way that they came to help, because it wasn't Clarice, but it was Clarice. Yeah, that makes sense. Percy was really interesting because he cared a lot about everybody, and it put a lot of pressure on him during the battle, and he just wouldn't sleep during the day when the battle would not be going on. And I didn't understand why. I understand that he was scared, and he was scared that they might come back even during the day, but you need sleep if you want to fight properly and like not be weak. Spoilers for those who have not read the series. I'm going to say the spoiler of the ending of the last book, so don't watch this if you haven't read any of the books, or if you're currently reading the series, don't watch this. So at the ending, when he decides to give Luke the knife, I was so surprised because I knew at that point that he was going to be the hero of the prophecy, but I was like, of course he's not going to destroy everything, he's Percy, so it wasn't going to happen. But I was like, how in the world will he like make a move that will save everybody? He's in a duel against Kronos, so that was not possible. He could not kill him because he was kind of like immortal. I actually didn't really get that part right, because they were fighting him, but he wasn't getting injured, but they weren't saying that he was immortal, so that part I got lost. So yeah, I was really, really surprised, and Luke's selfless move was so moving. I really, really was touched by the fact that he knew that if he didn't do it, everybody would die, and it would be the end of the world, and he just did not what anybody would do, but like what a really selfless person would do. And I was really, really touched by that. I was impressed because in that moment, I feel like I know I would have done it, but like, you don't really know until you're at that point in that position. So, I don't know. So overall, I really enjoyed this series. I give this series a total of 4 out of 5 stars. Actually, each of the book I gave 4 out of 5 stars, so it was an equal general rating. I really, really like Rick Riordan writing style. It's really easy to read for me. If you're an advanced reader, like, don't read this. You're gonna think it's really, really boring. Or if you are a really big fan of mythology, read it. But it's not for like advanced people in English majors, like it's basic English. And yeah, I'm really looking for reading The Heroes of Olympus because I have heard, well, it's in the name, but I've heard that it's in the same world as Percy Jackson, so it's really, really interesting. And yeah, I also know that there's like this, the red pyramid. I don't know what it is, but I know that there is another series of just like 3 books. So I'm gonna also be reading those when, I don't know, but we'll see. So that was it, guys. I'm sorry for the really long video, but there are like 5 books, so I had to go like through them quickly, but I still want to give my opinion. So that will be it for today. I will see you soon with another video. Goodbye.
De la tierra morena tiene lindo vienen bajando.